Hello there, welcome to my views and news. Two new stories for you. First one is about Eritrean opposition, Brigade Nihamado, Bright Future, Risardo, etc. Tasavurki is in Rome till yesterday. He was in Rome. He was seen roaming the streets of Rome. Where was Eritrean opposition? Secondly, Sudan, a war has reached Ethiopian border now. Officially, we can say Eritrean border as well. Several camps have been established near Ethiopian border. Thousands are being recruited and trained. Camps on Eritrea established as well, and there was a clash between two forces yesterday, 2 days ago rather, in Gidarif, close to Ethiopian border. It's a very alarming picture, by the way, very alarming developments unfolding on Ethiopia, Sudan, Eritrea, Sudan border. But we're not covering these developments. We're mostly focusing on the conflict in the Amhara region and conflict between Ethiopia and Somalia, Ethiopia, Somaliland MOU. But what is happening on Ethiopia Sudan border is pointing towards a regional war which seems to be imminent. Ethiopia could be drawn into this war, Eritrea as well. Details for you in this video. Firstly, Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean president, attended Italy Africa summit in Rome, and he stayed there after that. Yesterday, he was seen shopping. He was seen roaming the streets of Rome, you can say, without any large security convoy, no security protocol. And some Eritrean activists have shared their pictures with Isaias Afwerki. They say that they just bumped into Isaias Afwerki there. And the president was there freely visiting the city, and they just met him and they took selfies and they're sharing selfies. Obviously, such selfies are planned. These activists are government backed, pro government activists. My question is the same: where is Eritrean opposition? Because I remember that people used to contact me, Sajid, you are not giving airtime to Eritrean opposition. Eritrean opposition is sacrificing, it is risking its status in Europe. It is protesting. Brigade Nihamad activities are not being covered on my views and news. You are pro Isaias Afwerki. You support Isaias Afwerki. That is what I had to hear. No, I was not backing anyone. And I think I covered all the activities of Brigade Nihamad, all the activities of other opposition groups as well. But opposition groups have been tested and they failed miserably, I think. They could not uh, agree on some joint line of action to protest against Eritrean president. Some say that Eritrean opposition groups were caught by surprise. They were not expecting Eritrean president to be in Rome to attend Italy Africa summit, but Isaias Afwerki stayed there for 3 to 4 days. Till yesterday, he was there in Rome. Opposition could not protest. Some say that maybe Italian government was not going to grant any permission to these Eritreans to protest in Italy because it was a high-profile summit with involvement, with participation of entire African leadership. Question is, did any Eritrean opposition group apply for protest, did ask for permission from the government in Rome or Italy? There could have been protests in other parts of Europe too. There could have been one single protest in Europe too. But no such thing happened. What does it indicate? It indicates that opposition is either weak or split, or there are some elements in opposition which are not true opposition. Rosado shared with me a statement. These people met in different parts of the world and they issued a joint statement. They said that they held long discussions in New Zealand, in Australia, in Europe, in America, and then they came up with a joint statement. The statements have been coming for years, but no one tried to take on Isas Afwerki. By take on, I mean right to protest is a democratic right. Uh, Especially in Europe, this right in most cases is not denied. Brigade Nehamido has been crossing red line. It has been attacking pro-Eritrean government festivals programs. Now, when Isasevok is in Europe, Brigade Nehamido, Bright Future, and other opposition groups are nowhere to be seen. Just one statement from Bright Future, I think. Otherwise, practically on the ground, nothing happened. No protest against the visit, against Italian government registered so far in Europe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Eritrean opposition, if it wants a democratic change in Eritrea, it will have to create unity in its ranks first. After that, it can hope to bring about any change. Secondly, viewers, alarming developments on Ethiopia Sudan, Eritrea Sudan border not being covered by Ethiopian media, Eritrean media as well. War has now reached Ethiopian border, Eritrean border. War in Sudan, which started in Darfur, in Khartoum. Now, heavy weaponization and militarization of areas close to Ethiopia in Sudan and Eritrea is being confirmed. Dozens of camps have been established. 5 groups have established their camps close to Ethiopian border in Gedaref, where thousands are being trained. Eritrea is training as well. 6 camps established there. I have all the details for you. Rapid support forces have almost swept across western Sudan, and that is Darfur. It's different zones of Darfur. Large parts of Khartoum, Bari, Middelman, under RSF. RSF is definitely going to make a move towards Gedaref, Red Sea, and Kassala. Port Sudan is the center of Burhan's government. And Burhan is still he's still representing Sudan as Sudan's legitimate leader. Though Hamathi is trying to show himself as the alternative, but so far he has not been accepted as the legitimate representative of Sudan. He cannot attend an IGAD summit or African Union summit on behalf of Sudan. That can only be done by Burhan. If Hamathi is not given recognition, obviously he'll try to seize control of other territories too. He'll try to completely defeat Sudanese military. So Hamathi's forces definitely are set to move towards those areas which are under the control of Sudanese military, or which are not under the control of rapid support force. And these are those areas, those states which share border with Ethiopia, Eritrea, and another state too, and some to the north which share border with Egypt. Alarming developments in Gedaref. Gedaref is a regional state of Sudan which shares border with Ethiopia. And Gedaref shares border with Kassala. Kassala shares border with Eritrea. Gedaref, you can say, is tri-border area. Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan border area. In Gedaref, this week there was a clash between 2 Sudanese armed groups which are training thousands of youths. Reportedly, 4 groups have established camps in Gedaref. Some of these groups are from Darfur. They were in Darfur. They did not fight there against rapid support forces. They could have defended Darfur, but there they remained neutral. Rapid support forces swept across Darfur, and from Darfur, and some other parts of Sudan. Now, these groups have come to Gidaraf, close to Ethiopian border. They are now they have established camps here, arms coming here, and youths being trained here. So, Gidaraf, Kassala are being treated as if they're going to be red lines, that RSF will be stopped here in Gidaraf, in Blue Nile, neighboring, in Kassala. That is why I'm saying that war has now reached Ethiopian border. 4 groups have established that training camps in Gidaraf so far. Firstly, Mini Minawi's group, Sudan Liberation Movement of Mini Minawi. This group is basically from Darfur. Mini Minawi is Darfur governor. He could not defend Darfur. His group remained neutral there. He did not support military when military was fighting rapid support forces there. Now, when military has been defeated there, Mini Minawi has sent his fighters to Gidaraf. So one group which is running camps, training camps in Gidaraf is Mini Minawi Sudan Liberation Movement. Second group is Sudan Liberation Movement of Mustafa Tambor. Again, I think this group is from Darfur too. Third group is Sudan People Liberation Movement of Malik Agar. Malik Agar group is basically from Blue Nile state, I think. But again, this group has established camps in Gidaraf. Fourthly, a group led by Adam Carbino. These 4 groups have established camps, and some of these groups fought against each other in the past as well. So they're not united. 2 days ago, there was a clash between Mini Minawi's fighters and Mustafa Tambor's fighters. Then Gidaraf security forces, local security forces intervened and they separated the camps. They separated the fighters of Mini Minawi group and the other group led by Mustafa Tambor. 4 groups here, apart from Sudanese military and Gidaraf local tribal elders too. In Gidaraf and Kassala, there are different tribes too. These tribes have thousands of fighters, and these fighters are being trained in Eritrea across the border. Reportedly, in Eritrea, 6 training camps have been established in Gash Barka. Gash Barka is in Eritrea, not far away from Sudan. And Eritrea is training 5 armed groups of Sudan now. These 5 armed groups are firstly United Popular Front for Liberation and Justice, led by Al-Amin Dawood. Secondly, Eastern Sudan Liberation Forces. Third group is Bija National Congress, led by Musa Muhammad Ahmed. Fourth group is Bija Armed Congress, led by Umar Muhammad Tahir. And fifthly, Mini Minawi Sudan Liberation Movement fighters also being trained in Eritrea. Eritrea training 5 armed groups. I think 3 are from Kassala, Bija National Congress, Bija Armed Congress, Eastern Sudan Liberation Forces, and 2 are from Darfur. While from all parts of Sudan, you can say, armed groups are flocking, rushing to Gidaraf, where weapons coming, fighters being trained, conscription ongoing. So we can say that a regional war is in the making. If there is no ceasefire, if there is no solution to the conflict in Sudan, definitely we're going to see war reaching Ethiopian and Eritrean borders. Eritrea is now involved in this war indirectly by training proxies. Where is Ethiopia? Ethiopia obviously is pro-UAE. UAE is backing rapid support forces. Is Ethiopia training rapid support forces? So far, we have no information. But the war can easily enter Ethiopian borders. Ethiopia will be drawn into this war, Eritrea as well, especially if RSF fighters start suffering losses. They'll use Ethiopian territory. UAE will force Ethiopia to give space, to give staging ground to be basis to rapid support forces. That will happen, you'll see. These are very alarming developments happening on Ethiopia, Sudan, Eritrea, Sudan border. Uh, can Ethiopian government afford a war at this point of time? While internally there is a conflict in the Amhara region, Tigray has complaints too about implementation of Pretoria deal, Somalia threatening, Sudanese war reaching Gidara. So this is the situation. Horn of Africa, I think for Horn of Africa, 2024 is going to be a very difficult year. Let's see what happens. Thank you.